about Excel. If you don't know what Excel is, that's totally fine. It's basically just this computer program that allows us to do math really easily and quickly. So you could use Excel to do really high order things like running regressions on a bunch of numbers, or you could use it to do simpler things like adding or subtracting two numbers, which is closer to what we're going to be doing today. So before we get started, I just want to point out some basic terminology for you. Um, these little rectangles that I'm clicking in right now are called cells, and each cell has a name. So this one right here would be D5 because it's in column D in row 5. This one would be B7, this one would be C3, and so on. The cell names aren't really that important, but you'll see them later on when we do the equations. So with that being said, to show you how I'm going to add and subtract numbers, I'm going to go over the swimsuit that I found online today. It's really, really cute, but it's also really expensive. So it's really important that we're careful with our spending and how much we're spending on things we might not necessarily need, even if we really like them. So the best place to start is thinking about how much money I have right now. So let's say I have $400 in my bank account. And if we look at this top, we can see that it costs $108. So I'm just going to type in 108 and press enter. And if you notice in this box, when I typed in 400, I also typed in the dollar sign on my keyboard, but here I didn't. So if we want to format this in dollars and cents, we can just select the cell and then go up to this numbers pane up here and select currency from the drop down menu. So now it's just going to be formatted in dollars. It doesn't really make a difference in how it's calculated or anything when you add and subtract it, but it just makes it easier to keep track of the units and remember what we're working with. So now we'll look at the bottom, which apparently costs $80.50. So we'll put that in the next cell, $80.50. And again, we can just change it to money using the numbers pane over here. And if we want to see how much they cost together, we'll just add them up. So any type of mathematical computation requires that you start your formula with an equal sign. So we'll type in an equal sign. And then from there, we can just select the two numbers we want to add. So the first number is 108. We'll do an addition sign, and then 8050 is our second one, and then we'll hit enter. So together, these cost $188.50. We could have done this another way. We'll still start with the equal sign, but instead of going straight into selecting the numbers, we'll type in sum because we're summing these two numbers and do an open parenthesis. So once we have this open parentheses, we can just select whatever numbers we want to add together. So in this case, we're selecting 108 and 8050, which are only two numbers, so it's not that complicated. But it would work the same way if we wanted to add together 20 numbers or 2,000 numbers. So this is really useful. And we're just going to end it with a closing parentheses and hit enter again. And you'll see that it's still $188.50. So we know that worked. So another thing we want to think about when buying things online or even in the store is sales tax. So if we want to assume that the sales tax is 7%, in California, which it isn't, I think it's actually a little higher, we'll just take the 7% and add that to 100%. So we want to find out whatever 107% of this $188.50 is, because that's going to give us the total cost of the swimsuit with tax. So since we're doing another just basic mathematical computation, we're going to start with an equal sign. We're going to select this first number, and then we're going to multiply it and type in 1.07, which is just the decimal equivalent of 107%. Then we're going to hit enter, and we get $201.70. So this is how much the suit, the top and the bottom, cost after you've included tax. So let's say now that shipping is $10. We'll do an equal sign again, and we'll select the 201, and then we're going to add $10 to that to see how much it all costs with taxes and with shipping. So we get $211.70. We can go up here and make that number bold so we know that's the grand total of everything, and then we can think about how much money I'll have after I buy the swimsuit. So if I started out with $400, I can do an equal sign, do my 400, and then we're going to subtract out the $211 I'm going to have to spend on the suit. So it's A1 minus A8, we'll press enter, and then we'll see that I'll only have $188.31 left, which is still a good amount of money, but it's not very much considering I just had $400. So it's pretty obvious to see that spending over half of my bank account on one swimsuit probably isn't very safe. I would rather spend my money on books or food or anything else and try to save up enough money for it later. It kind of sucks because the swimsuit is really, really cute, but if you come back, I'm going to make some more videos about Megan's spending tracker so we can see how much we need to save each week in order to be able to afford the swimsuit. I really want it, and I know you do too, so make sure you check that out so we can buy it without feeling really guilty for spending over half of our bank accounts.